Do you ever feel like you're just kind of trapped in this cycle of negativity where it seems like it doesn't even matter what we do, like nothing's really going to make a difference because happiness does not even seem to be a real obtainable goal? Well, I think a lot of us do feel that way. It is just a really weird time right now, and it almost seems like it's becoming harder and harder to actually be happy. But I also think that many of us unknowingly or maybe unconsciously sabotage our chance for happiness because we engage in these very unhelpful and extremely negative thought patterns that can completely block our path to joy and fulfillment. I don't think that any of us do this intentionally, but it is really easy to get pulled into a downward spiral. And believe me, I have definitely been there myself. So today I want to talk about 5 of the most common mental habits that can steal our happiness, because in order to break this negative cycle and start to feel better, we have to first have awareness that they are there. So let's go ahead and jump right in so you can see if any of these hit home and sound familiar. Now, the first one is clinging to the past, which is actually one of the biggest happiness blockers of all. And really, the motivation to do this makes perfect sense, especially when we associate the past with really happy times. Maybe we're still longing for a past relationship or a career that ended, or we get caught up in missing how our kids were when they were a certain age, or we just miss being younger ourselves when things seemed a lot easier. When there was something amazing in our past, it's natural that we would want to recapture that. But unfortunately, when we cling to the past and we get stuck believing that that was the only time in our life that we'll ever be happy, instead of simply enjoying all the beautiful memories we have of that time, then we miss out on so many opportunities and all the potential joy that the present has to offer. It's like looking in the rearview mirror when we're trying to move forward. We can't even see or enjoy where we're going now if we're always looking behind us. By putting all our mental focus on what we used to have, we never give ourselves the opportunity to create new fulfilling experiences, which could end up being the best parts of our life. Now, ironically, another thing that can sabotage us is counting on future events to make us happy. I think we're all kind of guilty of this one, where we're just in waiting mode for something specific to happen that we believe is going to be this magic event that's going to make us happy finally. And honestly, a lot of these beliefs are actually programmed into us by society. We're often made to feel like we need to check off certain boxes, and that when we do these things, then all of a sudden we're going to feel better. So we may feel like we'll finally be happy when we graduate, or when we get a specific job, or when we get married, or when we have kids. And somewhere deep inside, we can feel like we just can't be happy if we don't have these things. So we're always in this constant state of anticipation, waiting for these events to take place. The problem with this way of thinking is that there is never any guarantee that any of these things will actually happen. And even if they do end up happening, there's also no guarantee that they are going to make us feel the way we are hoping they are going to make us feel. We quite literally rob ourselves of all the joy that's in our lives right now when we believe that our happiness is only found in some future destination that we can't even get to yet. Half the time we end up missing out on all the good stuff because we're so laser focused on all the things that we don't have. And it doesn't mean that we can't actively work towards all the things in life that we really wish for. We just have to back down from the belief that our happiness depends on those things. Okay, another habit that can really hold us back is dwelling on past mistakes. And believe me, I know how easy it is to get caught in a cycle of self-blame where we just replay these situations in our mind over and over and over again and feel the need to punish ourselves, even long after the lesson has been learned. But really, all this constant rumination does nothing but lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and regret, which can, of course, completely weigh us down and make us feel like we're not even deserving of happiness, which is absolutely not true. At some point, we have to offer ourselves compassion and understanding and allow ourselves to move forward by forgiving ourselves. We have to remember that every single person makes mistakes, but that doesn't mean that they define us or that we should deprive ourselves of living a joyful life because of them. We can certainly vow to do things differently in the future and make different choices, but we can't go on thinking that we are unworthy of happiness because of something that happened in our past. Now, I think the next one's going to hit home for a lot of us, and that is making our happiness contingent on the happiness of others. It is so easy to struggle with this because we care so deeply about the well-being of our loved ones, and their emotions, of course, affect our emotions. But still, when we make our actual happiness dependent on how they are feeling, we really set ourselves up for disappointment because we do not have the power to control how they think, feel, or act. It truthfully can be really distressing when we genuinely feel responsible for their happiness and we believe that our actions can make or break their well-being. And when we put this type of pressure on ourselves, it can completely extinguish our own happiness. And honestly, most of the time our heart really is in the right place. We just want to be there to support the people that we love when they're going through this difficult time. But we have to understand that dragging ourselves down in the process is not actually helping anything. It only makes us less able to give them the support they need. It can also be really upsetting to them to feel like we are becoming unhappy because of something that they are going through. That's usually the last thing that they would want to happen. Remember, we can't pour from an empty cup, and we will never be happy if it requires that every single person that we love has everything going perfectly well for them all the time, because unfortunately that is never going to happen. Now, another thing that can completely sabotage our happiness is always expecting the worst. This is something that I think a lot of us do without even realizing it. It's something that's really kind of deeply ingrained in us at this point. Really, it is a defense mechanism that many of us use to try to protect ourselves from being hurt or disappointed by life. We think that by anticipating a negative outcome, we're somehow preparing ourselves for whatever horrible thing is going to happen to us, even though most of the time there is nothing horrible that is actually coming. And I get it. We believe that we are helping ourselves out by being hypervigilant and always being on the lookout for potential disasters and letdowns. But really, we're just creating self-fulfilling prophecies and suffering the exact same amount we would if these things actually came into fruition. We have to remember that our thoughts and beliefs really do have a powerful impact, not only on our emotions, but also on our real life experiences. So if we continue to always expect the worst all the time, then that is exactly what our life will continue to deliver to us, at least in our own mind. If we want to be happy, we have to believe that it can happen. So if any of these are mental habits that you recognize from your own life, then it is time to make a change, because it is absolutely possible to break free from these negative thought patterns and finally start living the happy and fulfilling life that you completely deserve. If you are looking for further support or some strategies to work on any of these mindsets in particular, I'm going to go ahead and link down some videos in the description box that you may find helpful. But really, just having the awareness that there is self-sabotage there really is the first step in overcoming it. So as always, I truly hope that you found today's video to be helpful. Please take a moment to say hello in the comments. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.